The Dead Witch, from Russian Fairy Tales, a choice collection of Muscovite folklore, by W.R.S. Ralston, M.A. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Dale Grothman. The Dead Witch, by W.R.S. Ralston, M.A. There was once an old woman who was a terrible witch, and she had a daughter and a granddaughter. The time came for the old crone to die, so she summoned her daughter and gave her these instructions. "Mind, daughter, when I'm dead, don't you wash my body with lukewarm water, but fill a cauldron, make it boil its very hottest, and then with that boiling water regularly scald me all over." After saying this, the witch lay ill for 2 or 3 days, and then died. The daughter ran around to all her neighbors, begging them to come and help her wash the old woman, and meantime the little granddaughter was left all alone in the cottage. And this is what she saw there. All of a sudden there crept out from beneath the stove 2 demons, a big one and a tiny one, and they ran up to the dead witch. The old demon seized her by the feet and tore away at her so that he stripped off all her skin at one pull. Then he said to the little demon, "Take the flesh for yourself and lug it under the stove." So the little demon flung his arms around the carcass and dragged it under the stove. Nothing was left of the old woman but her skin. Into it the old demon inserted himself, and then he lay down just where the witch had been lying. Presently the daughter came back, bringing a dozen other women with her, and they all set to work laying out the corpse. "Mammy," said the child, "they pulled Granny's skin off while you were away." "What do you mean by telling such lies?" "It's quite true, Mammy. There was ever such a blackie coming from under the stove, and he pulled the skin off and got into it himself." "Hold your tongue, naughty child. You're talking nonsense," cried the old crone's daughter. Then she fetched the big cauldron, filled it with cold water, put it on the stove, and heated it until it boiled furiously. Then the woman lifted up the old crone, laid her in a trough, took hold of the cauldron, and poured the whole of the boiling water over her at once. The demon couldn't stand it. He leaped out of the trough, dashed through the doorway, and disappeared, skin and all. The women stared. "What marvel is this?" they cried. "There was a dead woman, and now she isn't here. There's nobody left to lay out or to bury. The demons have carried her off before our very eyes." The end of The Dead Witch, by W.R.S. Ralston, M.A.